everyone, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Women's Prize reading vlogs. This is the third vlog in my Women's Prize reading vlog series where I'm reading the entire long list and vlogging the entire process, and it has been so much fun so far. I've been having a little bit more luck this year than I did last year, and I've actually been enjoying a lot more of the books. Not to say that I've been enjoying every single one. We have had some frustrations along the way. I usually do 4 books every single vlog. I already know which 2 I'm going to start with for this vlog because I'm about to start them and I've already started one. The other 2 I will kind of wait to see how I feel after finishing these first 2, as I usually do, because I like to decide based on my feelings and my vibes from the books that I finish first. So the first book that I want to talk about and I've already actually started is Fundamentally. This one I've actually been listening to as an audiobook. I could find it only on my Spotify, so I used up my remaining Spotify hours for this one. I was actually recommended to listen to this as an audiobook from one of you, so thank you so much for that recommendation, because it is a really excellent audiobook, but I have already run out of hours for my Spotify, unfortunately. So I got about 3 or 4 hours into this one. Fundamentally is all about this woman who is an academic. She's a struggling academic, and she's got this kind of very intense relationship with her best friend who she is deeply in love with, but they have an open relationship. And one day she gets this incredible opportunity to travel to Iraq based on an academic paper that she has written. She gets a job offered to basically travel to Iraq and work with radicalized women who have become ISIS brides, and she is then thrust into this UN agency and told that she has to lead a de-radicalization program for these ISIS brides. It's got kind of a dark humor, kind of a like witty vibe to this story, and you're following our main character as she is just basically crashing out in her life. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's kind of like trying to just get away from London, so she accepts this job. She really doesn't know what she's in for. That's the kind of setup of this book. So far, I do really like the audiobook actually. The way that it's done is very good. It's got some like extra effects to it. The voice acting is very good. I'm enjoying it. I'm not like 100% like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever, but like it's an entertaining read so far. And then the other book that I want to read for this vlog that I'm definitely going to be reading is Nesting. This one I'm slightly nervous to read because I've heard that it's very difficult to read. This is basically following a woman as she is escaping a domestic violence situation. One day she suddenly is up and leaving her husband, and she takes her 2 small kids and basically flees on a whim. This one was available on BookBeat, which is a really good place actually if you want to do audiobooks, because they give you a really good free trial. I'm currently using like a 90-day free trial, and if you want to use my code, then I think you can get a 60-day free trial for yourself. I've listened to a couple of the Women's Prize long list ones already on there, and they've got so many on there, and there's no waiting times. It's a lot easier. You should check out BookBeat. There'll be a link in my description if you want to use my code, but obviously you don't have to at all. Just do whatever you want. But I am currently using BookBeat. I will actually start this book now though, because I'm on my way, or I'm about to leave the house and to get changed first, and I'm gonna go to a book event tonight. So I thought I could bring you along with me, and it'll be really fun. It's a Picador showcase. So the publisher Picador is doing a showcase. I'll bring you along with me and we will start nesting when I'm on the bus. I still have a sore throat, so we are going very casual.
I'd imagine pizza. I think I've had pizza since New York.
This is great.
Andrew Ridgely, his father was from Egypt, or George Michael. And for this reason, I was at one point tempted to call the book Vampire Land. Editor Mary Mann came up with a better title, which I
reviews, and I have continued to play music for all of my life.
In a swimsuit, anointed with baby oil to encourage a uniform exposure, a mild burn atop the tank as it filled in that burgeoning era of means to an end.
When Ivy looked back, this was what she remembered. Joseph was singing.
And just like that, James Maguire was free.
Amazing about your writing is it becomes more complicated as the book goes on.
What does it all mean? Why on earth did I come into this room in the first place?
God, there's a cat. Cutie. Why is there a cat in the middle of Soho? Oh, I feel bad for it. Someone's come and said hello this morning. Okay, morning everyone. The event last night was so much fun, especially after I got over my initial nervousness. It's always so awkward when you turn up somewhere and you don't know anyone and everyone else seems to know everyone else and you're just kind of standing there like on your own. But I met some really, really lovely girls and ended up spending the night chatting away to them. They were absolutely lovely, so that was really, really nice. And I've also come away with some books, so let me show you a quick little haul of what I got. Firstly, look at this gorgeous tote bag. I really like Sarah Moss as well. I got this book that I've not heard of before called Lost Horizons. I think this is an adventure story, a classic kind of adventure story about people who crash their plane in the Himalayas. This one is one of the authors that we heard from last night, Megan Hunter. It's a literary fiction and I had not previously heard of it, but a couple of people were talking about it and I think someone had actually read it that I was sitting with last night and was saying that it was really, really good. So I'm really glad that I got a copy of this, and also an absolutely gorgeous cover. Next up, I picked up this. I don't know much about it. I basically saw that it was translated fiction and I just thought, yeah, I'll have a go with that. I just grabbed it. So that is a proof copy. Next up, we have this one that I'm so excited about. I've seen this so many times and I just love the cover. That's initially what drew me to it. So this is a non-fiction actually, and it's about a woman who basically finds this walled garden and she begins to restore it. And as someone who needs to desperately restore their own garden, I think that this will be really lovely to read. And then what else have we got? We've got another non-fiction, The Hidden Globe. I just thought that sounded interesting. I'm trying to get more on my non-fiction games, so that's another one to add to the stack that I'm interested in. And then finally we have Fair Play. Honestly, I just love this cover, and this one's coming out in April, the 3rd of April. I love anything that's described as a puzzle box, so I'm hoping it's going to be a really good mystery story. Oh god, I've just dropped them, but yeah, there's a beautiful spread of the books that I got last night. Also, because it was quite a long bus journey there and back for me, I did get up to some reading as well, so let's do a little reading update. Maybe firstly let's actually talk about Fundamentally, because this is the one that I've been reading on my Kindle and I'm a little bit further through it now. This is cute and funny and it's occasionally frustrating, but it's like an entertaining read so far. It's nothing to write home about, but also I'm not getting like annoyed with it either. So that's also good, because sometimes, especially with books with this tone, I sometimes get a bit frustrated with it. I obviously listened to most of it, or like so far most of it I've listened to as an audiobook, and the audiobook is very good. And then now I've switched over to reading it on my Kindle, and I am less focused, I have to say, with reading on my Kindle, but I got to about the 50% mark last night. Basically, you're kind of just following this woman as she's really struggling to get this UN program off the ground, and she's having issues with her like co-workers, she's having issues with the higher up, she's having issues, you know, politically with the Iraqi government. But she basically has made this really strong connection with one of the women in the camps, who she kind of sees as a girl that could have been her, like if it was like parallel lives, like a girl that's ended up in this camp, she sees how close that her own life could have become this girl's life. I have to say the main character is a little bit of a bumbling, like, you know, like she just kind of is bumbling around, and I just don't think she's giving like professional in any way, which is kind of fun and it's making it more of an entertaining read. But occasionally I'm like, this does kind of really stretch the limits of my belief and understanding of how a UN program would run. And as someone who's had a little bit of experience in running programs, especially around women and women's violence, and especially running programs abroad and how much goes into that, some of it is relatable and some of it I'm like, this would never happen. This would just simply not happen. So far, this is like a 3 for me. I'm like enjoying it, but I'm not obsessed, but I'm also like not hating it. So, and then last night I got quite a lot of the audiobook for Nesting also that I started, and this one has immediately started. It's very heavy hitting straight away. You are straight into the mind of this woman who is in an abusive relationship, and she has got 2 small children and has decided on a whim, it's not quite on a whim, but she's just one day packed up the car and left. And it is tense, definitely. Like, you're feeling the panic she's feeling, and the writing is really good to hook you in. I'm wondering where it'll go from here, because it's such a strong start and I'm already feeling as if like I think it would be difficult to sustain this level of intensity throughout. I think it's a really important topic to talk about emotional abuse and domestic violent relationships that look like this. It's also set in Ireland, and so some of the laws around domestic abuse is different. And I think that there's also going to be a discussion about abortion and also about the housing crisis as well within this book. So far so good with nesting. I am enjoying it. I'm going to get much more of it probably done today because I'm doing some DIY. I would say probably slightly preferring nesting at this point, but it's early days. And like maybe at the beginning I would have preferred fundamentally, but I'm just further through fundamentally now. Hi guys, I just got back from my walk and I've been listening to a lot of nesting. My opinion has changed ever so slightly, and I'm going to sound so heartless. This is a good book and this is well written, and I know that this is a really important topic to talk about and explore because this woman is facing just such a horrible situation within this marriage. Also the fact of when she's leaving and the housing crisis and everything she's having to do to try and survive and keep her kids safe. It's a really, really difficult situation. Me reviewing it as a book, on the other hand, and I don't want to sound heartless about this, I do feel like some of it is very heavy-handed. And I just know that this is probably, people aren't going to agree with me. Like, I obviously have read stories about this topic before, so I was hoping for something slightly more or different or something more original in the way that it's being told to me. And it's not. I'm honestly almost finishing this book because I've been doing so much DIY. So I'm literally 80% through this book. At no point have I ever been surprised at what's going to be going to happen, and also a lot of the tension. Obviously, you can't maintain the same one note of tension the entire time, so a lot of that has drained away, and you're kind of left thinking of like a bit of the practicalities of a lot of the situation that she finds herself in, and I find a lot of that a little bit frustrating because there's a lot of things that just aren't discussed and aren't explored. For example, why her family aren't helping her. I would think a lot of other things that she could be doing. And if there are good reasons why the situation she's in is like that, then I do think that that should be explored a bit more. Like, it does feel like the main issue is the main character's naivety, which isn't actually true. Like, if you know what I mean, if she tried to do lots of different things and then the door shut in her face many different times over, I would feel as a reader a much more like, you know, that's like a very suffocating, very like confronting type of book with her trying to do all of these things and nothing's working, and like that's a really like difficult read in like a kind of good way. And after like reading about 80% of the book and nothing much like changing with the tone or the tension, I do just find myself like, oh, okay, like this is what the book is now. I think that we're just going to get this kind of book. And I think I'm being harsher on this book because it's nominated for a prize. And part of the reason why these books are nominated for that prize is originality. That is one of the key components of the Women's Prize judges, like shortlist. That's what they look for, is originality. And so I was expecting something a little bit more different with it. Not to say that I'm not enjoying this book, just to say that it's not going to be like something that it's really hitting me emotionally. I think it will hit obviously some people really emotionally. I even think that it has some information that isn't 100% accurate. I used to work in a women's charity for women who were suffering against domestic violence and different types of violence against women, and so like I want to like preface this review by saying I'm not being heartless. I do really obviously deeply care about this topic. It's just, I think that the way this is being explored in this book hasn't been as impressive to me. Okay, just finished nesting. My opinion stayed the same. It is definitely a very beautiful and powerful book, and I can really see why some people would connect to this one a lot. Just for the reasons I previously said, it didn't 100% hit for me in the way that it was written. This one I did enjoy reading, and even though I'm giving it 3, like my rating system means like a 3-star read for me, I still recommend a 3-star book. It's just not going to be one of my personal favorites, but I would recommend it to like other specific people, like other readers. So that's my audiobook finished, and I need to now find a next one to listen to as an audiobook. So I actually have 2 options. I should start reading one physically as well, and then try and find something as an audiobook. but the two books I have physically are, I could go ahead and do Crooked Seeds by Karen Jennings, which I know is going to probably be quite a good, like, powerful book. I've read a Karen Jennings one before. I read An Island. Or I could start A Little Trickerie, which is a historical fiction about this woman vagabond. I'm just sitting here reading fundamentally. Something about the tone is really annoying me now, and it's getting more annoying the more that she interacts with this young girl, this young ISIS bride, because the way that the young person is talking feels so off. Like, this is not how a 19-year-old from London would speak. It's just absolutely not. It's like how a millennial would have spoken back when they were a teenager. Like, young teenagers do not talk like this now at all. And even back then, millennials didn't really talk like that either. I don't know, it's like really, really jarring, and it's kind of irritating me. Also, our main character is like, she was naive before, but I thought that was more like politically naive. She's just incredibly naive in every way. And I'm just like, oh my God, have you not thought for 2 seconds about any of this? And it's kind of going down like the comedy route rather than anything else. But it is dealing with like really serious topics about literally like ISIS and these, you know, these fundamentalists and these women who have been indoctrinated. And so sometimes the humour just rubs me off the wrong way, because the main character has to be able to have this sense of humour, often has to come across quite callous if in the moment, you know. It's not really like how a real person would deal with these things. It's like very insensitive. I'm probably going to finish this book tonight, so I will let you know how it goes at the ending, but I'm just like kind of not loving it, to be honest, at the moment. Okay, I finished it. I don't really like it that much. At the end, the author does go into a bit about where and why she decided to take some heavy creative liberties with like the setting and stuff. And none of that bothered me that much by the end. It was kind of just the main character and how she would go from like being, I don't know, like everyone kept saying how kind she was and warm-hearted, and she was actually quite horrible. Like some of the things that she said to people were absolutely awful and devastating, and that I would never think to say to anyone, even if I hated them. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you come around and say that this is a kind-hearted person? Yeah, I just didn't love it in the end. I thought that a lot of the message was kind of lost, and I think because it's a complicated issue, it can't really be dealt with in the way that it was, in this dark comedy way. I just didn't love it. Like, I think it was trying to go for a Bandit Queens kind of vibe, and it didn't work. I loved Bandit Queens so much. That is something that does do a dark topic, but does it in a funny way, in a really, really clever way. And that's like got really good, complicated characters in that, and I just really liked it. And this is trying to go for that, and it's just, I think, didn't work for me. I think it's like a 2-star read for me. But from the like 50% mark onwards, I was just like, this doesn't make any sense, and I don't like the characters. And it's not exploring this with any depth or nuance. So by the way, I've decided that my next book is going to be A Little Trickerie by Rosanna Pike. Let's see how it goes. I've heard mixed things about this one, so I don't know what to think. I literally look like I'm trying to go incognito when I wear hat and sunglasses. But anyway, I started Little Trickerie last night. I got about 50 pages into it, and I actually really was enjoying it more than I thought I would. Got a really unique voice and style that might get a little grating, but so far I'm quite enjoying. And it was honestly got me quite emotional right at the beginning about, you know, the circumstances that has led this young girl to be left alone in the world. I'll update you more later. I'm about to start Crooked Seeds as an audiobook, so we'll see how that goes. Good morning vlog. It's actually Saturday today. I've done a little bit of reading to update you on, but mainly today I'm actually going to go and surprise my mum. It's Mother's Day tomorrow, and so she doesn't know, but I'm gonna go and get on a train now and go and surprise her today. I think it'll be really cute. I hope that she'll be surprised. Me and my older sister are both gonna like just show up at her house, which will be fun. I hope she doesn't have plans. In terms of reading updates, this is Little Trickerie, which, by the way, look how gorgeous that spine is. I have read about 50 pages of this, about like 15%, and I'm enjoying it. I am engaged with this one so far. I haven't read much more since last time I updated you, but I have also started this one, which is Crooked Seeds. I started this as an audiobook and wow, it's gonna be dark. I think this is like, it's written really like, it's gritty and it's dark and interesting, but I think it's gonna be like a bit of a tough read / listen because I'm listening to this one. I'm gonna go now and get on the train, and so I will have time to get some good reading in. I'll be listening to this one and I'll read the Little Trickerie one on the train. So let's go. At the train station a little bit early. Went and got myself a meal deal from M&S, which cost 10 quid. And now I'm gonna kill some time, maybe looking in a bookshop. I went out last night, so I'm feeling a little bit sensitive. So I need to be soothed and calmed, which obviously means looking at books, although I don't have very long. Okay, Sissy has picked me up and we are off to go. Driving like a maniac. I've got a claw clip in, that's dangerous. We are off to go and surprise Mum. I'm very excited. Probably won't record her surprise in case she's just not good for the camera, you know? In case she doesn't care. In case she doesn't care. I'll be really embarrassed. I'm at my mum's now with the little kitty and her little kitty. This is Morgana, who is Miso's auntie, I like to say. She's such a little cuddly teddy bear. And the surprise went off very well, didn't it, Mum? Yeah. She was very shocked, very surprised. I said just before when I was filming, I said, I'm not going to film a surprise in case she doesn't perform for the camera very well. Or she's not home, or she doesn't care. But she did care. So we've had a lovely time catching up.
So good. It's been amazing.
I'm going to have a sleepover tonight. And it'll be really fun. Although we have to cook dinner. We're having dinner now. Mum has made us a delicious risotto. Pea risotto, is it? Yeah. And we're gonna watch a K-drama. Mum has never watched a K-drama before. And I've only ever watched maybe 2 in my life. So this is the one we're gonna watch. Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. I've been told it's cute and romantic comedy, so we'll see. It looks even more haunted now. Delicious.
Bean ground. Did you get the fresh oily, whatever? Hot coffee expert.
Oily whatever. We're going down to see the chickens. Yeah. Here they are. Mum's going to show me her magnificent cock. Hello. Look. Which one?
Can you tell?
Oh yeah, obviously. Hello cuties. They're going over here because we're going to walk in here and they want some food.
Okay, enough of that talking.
They're so cute. I'll tell you all their names in a minute.
Just excited for the corn. The others all wait patiently. You're having a go now, aren't you? He does this noise of, come on ladies, come and get your corn.
Is he alright then? Is he quite well behaved or? Oh good. Okay, tell me all their names then. Okay, and I'll do some corn as well.
Percy Pig.
Which one? This is Percy.
His dad is a pink salmon Faverol, so I did pink names.
Love that.
Not pink salmon, salmon Faverol.
He's Percy.
Pepper. And then Madison, because she doesn't follow the pattern, but they're brothers and sisters, those 3. Verity Warwick, Wendy Wyandotte, and Agatha, the French cock Marin.
Aww. So Verity's the oldest?
Yes.
You're not going to peck me, are you, Pepper? Honestly, I haven't become emotionally invested in a chicken since my favourite one died. It was called Trez and it was beautiful. Beautiful black and white one. This is today's haul, which is an excellent haul, I think. And there is a chance that one of them will be fertilised, so we're going to check.
Well, once we know that they're regularly fertile, then we can save 7, put them in the incubator.
Oh, you've got to get 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm back home now. I had such a lovely time with my mum. Really, really cute to catch up with her. And we had a lovely day. And I also caught up with my other sister as well, which was so nice. And I've got home and I've got a book. And I think that this is going to be one of the ones I've requested from publishers for the Women's Prize. I've also just finished Crooked Seeds. I was listening to it as an audiobook, so it didn't actually take me very long at all. I will give you my reading update for that one. But first, let's open this. Let's see if I can get it all in one. No, never, never, never. Never. I'm really bad at this. Anyway, let's see. I hope... Ooh, it is a hardback. No, it's not. It's not for the Women's Prize. It's from Fly on the Wall Press. They reached out and said, did I want anything from their catalogue? And I said, hell yeah, yes please. First we have The Wager and the Bear. And then next up we have Witchborn. Both of these look really, really cool. I'm actually not going to talk about them in this vlog because I'll do a book haul where I'm talking about all of the other books, like, because these aren't women's prize ones, I won't talk about them in this vlog. I've actually just put oil in my hair, so ignore that. It's hair washing day, so I'm doing an oil thing. But let me tell you a little bit about Crooked Seeds. First reactions are, whoa, it was a lot. A lot of what it's describing is very unsettling and like quite like physically uncomfortable. But my God, was I like really there with it. Basically, this is set in a little bit in the future. This is like in like 2028 in Cape Town, and it's kind of ravaged by like wildfires and there's a water shortage, and you're following this main character who is quite awful. Like she's an awful person, but written in a really interesting way because it is so like propulsive, and like, you do really want to find out what is happening to her and like what's going on in her life. I think I'm gonna give this a 4-star rating. I feel like it was really written very well, but I didn't enjoy reading it because it was so like uncomfortable. A lot of it is quite graphically described, not even in like violent ways or like sexually graphic or anything. Graphic just in terms of like the reality of her living in poverty, and the main character is just awful. Like, wow. And I did enjoy it for that. Also, didn't take me very long. It's, you know, like a 5-hour audiobook. The book itself is not very long. I would say it is worth reading, especially if you like more complicated characters discussing like more difficult topics. I thought it was actually done really, really well. I'm about 50% through this book, A Little Trickerie, but I need to get a move on and finish these vlogs because the shortlist is being announced tomorrow as I'm filming this. So I'm going to try and finish this today so that I can have full thoughts on it without knowing what's going to be on the shortlist. Okay, I just finished it. I actually really liked this. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to like it. So let's chat about this last one. Basically, I was obviously expecting this to be historical fiction about this kind of unconventional, you know, main character, and it was that, but like it was so plot focused for historical fiction that I really, really enjoyed, because I don't love anything that's too slow and too atmospheric, and I especially don't like historical fiction that just focus really heavily on like how shit it was to be a woman back in the day, and that's what a lot of historical fiction is to me. And there is obviously that within this, like Tib, our main character, goes through some awful things in her life, but the way that this is written and the like happy and hopeful nature of this book because of the main character really carried me through. The voice in this one is so unique and so joyful, and I really, really liked it. I did a mix of reading this physically and then I also listened to this as an audiobook, and I would highly recommend the audiobook. The narrator does an excellent job of giving the main character just that like whimsical feel. Like she is a slightly naive character in some ways, but in some ways she's very worldly, and she's just the type of character that I really like to follow. Someone who is really kind but not passive, naive and loving, but also not too trusting. Like there's a complicated mix within her, and I just loved her, and I really liked how it all ended. It's not going to be a 5-star read from me. The side characters weren't adding as much. They were a little bit like of a blank space for me. But overall, this was just a very fun, entertaining read. I really, really enjoyed this. It was so much fun. So this is an easy 4-star read for me, and I'm very, very pleased to have read it. But that does mean I've now finished 4 books for this vlog in total, and it's time to rank. For me, there is a clear one at the bottom for this reading vlog out of the 4 that I've read, and that is Fundamentally. I really did not end up enjoying this one. Ultimately, what it comes down to is that this is a dark comedy, and I did not enjoy the humor and I didn't enjoy the voice, and then also didn't really think that it hit very hard in terms of the commentary it was making either. It was a bit of a miss on most fronts. I mean, it wasn't absolutely awful, but this is like a 2-star read from me. And then next up, this is kind of difficult actually, but the one that I'm going to put next is Nesting, and I'm ending up on about a 3 for this, like maybe a 3.25 if we're using quarter stars. And I think that I'm very much like in the minority with my thoughts on this one because I've only really heard absolute rave reviews for this one. While it is a very important read, and I think a lot of it is very tense, especially at the beginning, the writing is very good, especially at the beginning. That does make you feel incredibly tense for this main character. I do think it really loses its way. It feels repetitive to me. I do think it's still important, and obviously it's going to be such a personal thing whether this book really hits for you or not. I do think that maybe because I've worked in a charity for violence against women before, I think that I had a slightly different perspective on some of the practical sides of this and some of the ways in which the story played out, especially with kind of the latter half and kind of the inclusion of a romance I didn't really appreciate. I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm landing with that one. But then the next one that I want to talk about is Crooked Seeds. This one, I think I enjoyed reading it, and then when I put it down and then now I've come back to it, I think I'm actually rating it higher because it is something that has really stuck with me, and I think it's doing a really interesting thing. I think that not only is it written in a way that is like very evocative in like a terrible way, like you are feeling like you are living with this main character in a squalor and also just like begging for her to pull herself out of it, but there is a mirroring between her story and her brother's story, and also the black people and the white people that are living in a post-apartheid South Africa, that I think is done in a very clever way. I think this one, I was going in thinking that I wouldn't like it as much as I did, and it's actually ended up really surprising me. There's lots of layers, there's lots of things that the author is trying to show you, and there is a really interesting way in which they are doing it. So, and that means that the top of this list is the last book that I read, which is A Little Trickerie, which I'm really happy about because I bought this one with my own money. So I'm really glad that I didn't just waste my money on a pretty cover that I didn't enjoy the book, because I did really enjoy this book. This is a main character that will stay with me. I really loved Tib, and I could highly recommend this to people who do like historical fiction, or if you're more similar to me and you don't always pick up a historical fiction, I would say still give it a go, because you'll know within the first chapter or 2 chapters whether you get on with this or not. It's such a nice, refreshing historical fiction compared to a lot of the other historical fictions, especially that were on the list last year. I really didn't like the historical fictions that were on the Women's Prize list last year. This is definitely much more up my street. So thank you so much for watching this vlog, and thank you so much to my Patreons, my favorite people on the planet, for helping make this channel grow and make this video possible. I am so grateful to my Patreons, and if you are interested in becoming a Patreon, then there's always a link in the description. There's lots of different tiers and lots of different perks that you can get over on the Patreon, including exclusive videos, including a book shopping vlog that I recently uploaded. I'm sitting here editing this video, and I want to say 2 things. I know that this video is incredibly late, but I still hope that you are interested in my thoughts on the Women's Prize long list, even though the shortlist is already out. And then secondly, I also want to say I've actually recently tried to read another book from the long list and DNF'd it. The first one that I've DNF'd from the whole of the long list, and that is Somewhere Else. I got an hour into the audiobook, really wasn't enjoying it, and to be honest, I've seen other people's vlogs reading this book and no one has really gotten along with it, and I haven't seen any good reviews, so I've decided just to DNF it and do myself the favour. So that means that there's only 2 books left that I have not read from the long list, and I will be reading them in upcoming videos, but I probably won't be doing another entire vlog for it because we're now pivoting and doing the International Booker shortlist vlogs, so stay tuned for those. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, then please remember to subscribe and also leave a like on this video because that really helps me out, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!